Today is a bucket list kind of day. I've taken off my rings, bracelets, watches. I haven't seen my cell phone in hours because today I'm going to take one item off my bucket list. There's a World Superbikes class racetrack right here in front of me. I have the Ducati 959 Panigale with me, and they've just said, ride your heart out. Ducati has come a long way from its sports bike centric past, especially during the 916 era, and they offer many different kinds of motorcycles today. But to me, the dream has always been to ride a Ducati sports bike at a racetrack, and so here we go. The 959 is a middleweight sports bike. That means it sits under the flagship, that's the 1299 Panigale, and offers a more accessible, more affordable machine. The middleweight itself, of course, has grown. This one displaces 955cc and makes 157 PS, which is not a middling number by any stretch of the imagination. Ducati says the extra stroke over the outgoing 899 Panigale allowed them to add more torque right across the rev range, including a substantial chunk in the mid-range. As you might expect, the 959 is extremely quick on its feet, and if you're not riding at full chat, you can still use a gear higher at every corner and still make swift progress. More importantly, as a mid-sports bike should, the 959 feels controllable and friendly and unintimidating. In the transition from the 899 to the 959, this will replace the 899 obviously, the engine obviously got a big upgrade, but the chassis has a minor tweak which makes a big difference. So the 899, they tell us, when you were on the side and you tried to open the gas would slide just a little bit. To cure that, they've lowered the swing arm pivot a little bit. It gives you a slightly longer wheelbase, and this thing is just planted. I've ridden as low traction control as I dared. Once in fact, it switched off, and still the level of traction that this bike brings to the table is insane. It's very, very good. Sports bikes are not meant to be comfortable, and as I grow older, I'm aware of that because I have more aches and pains when I ride them. But the 959 is actually giving me a lot of time to think about, do I actually understand that fully? Because they say it's a balance between the street and the racetrack, and it's a very good balance. Will it be super comfy on the street? Perhaps not. Will it be livable? I think it will. But more importantly, this is a really easy bike to ride. You can tune into what it's doing and understand what it's doing really easily, and it's the kind of effortlessness that I wasn't expecting. And to be honest, given the performance, given how good the chassis is, and given what brand it is, the price that it comes to in India, I mean, we're going to confirm this at the road test, but this just might be the best sports bike deal you can get. You cannot talk about the current day sports bike without mentioning the electronics. The 959 is rather well equipped. It gets a standard upshift only quick shifter, which you can turn off. Traction control has 8 levels and you can turn that off. ABS is the latest Bosch unit with 3 levels and you can turn that off as well. There is also the engine brake control which has 3 levels to keep the chassis stable when you go off the throttle. The settings for all of these are preset into 2 full power riding modes, race and sport, and 100 PS wet mode. The modes change the throttle response, but you do have the option of changing every single one of the other presets to settings you prefer. The best part is that the Ducati system is nearly invisible in use, and it is the second most friendly system we've used after the Aprilia equivalent. And at this point, I've had an eye-opening realization. The Ducati 959 is so good that we nearly forgot that it is a Panigale. And by that, I mean its design. Ducati has always liked its bikes devoid of stickering and garnish, allowing sweeping lines and uninterrupted planes to do the talking. The 959 is tiny. It shares all the panels with the 1299 and it is beautiful. The wider upper fairing allows better wind protection, and the new foot pegs are super grippy and very cool looking, and that's all there is for the updates visually. But just look at this motorcycle. It's such a wonderful sight. What people didn't like instantly when they saw the 959 was these. And the logic for them is actually not hard to understand because this is a Euro 4 compliant motorcycle. That's the version we are going to get. The United States, not Euro 4, they don't get this, they get an underbelly just like the old one did. And the problem is there's a lot of hardware that goes into Euro 4 which sits in here, takes up the space, and there you have a side slung exhaust. Slight advantage, sound source is now away from the middle of the motorcycle where sound is measured. You can of course have aftermarket exhaust that fix it, and it's easier now because the header diameter is bigger, it's the same as the 1299, so the range of exhaust is actually also bigger. But the point to note, for me at least, is when I'm in here and I'm looking that way, I don't actually see that, so it doesn't bother me at all. Wow, what a wonderful day I've had, and what a wonderful, incredible motorcycle Ducati has made, because I don't think the story of the 959 is about the power or the various bits, not even actually the electronics. It's about how easy it is to access the performance on the motorcycle and how confident it makes you feel. But as wonderful as this experience has been, what gets even nicer is when you add price to the equation, because the 959 Panigale is just over 14 lakh rupees ex-showroom. And at that price, it's an incredible deal, because if you look at it, the Daytona 675R does have the adjustable suspension, but this has a lot more electronics, slipper clutch, quick shift, etc. It's just 2 lakh rupees less than this motorcycle. So unless budget was a real constraint, would I settle for a Daytona? Would I upgrade to a 959? Probably upgrade. So we'll test it out and we'll confirm this once we have this motorcycle on test back home. But I can promise you this, that this is looking like the best sports bike deal you can get in India right now.